Have time?
What did he say? Good to see you. No sé. ¿Por qué fueron hoy?
Hey, Councilman.
Yo no había dicho nada.
Hi.
Richard told me like, oh, yeah, we're on top of it. Pero eso fue hace meses, yeah. So,
And the guys give a little leeway.
how are you, sir?
Anything 10 or more.
Oh, hi, Bob. Yes, I'm gonna go fill my water bottle.
Just had an interesting stop inside. Two guys, bunch of money.
Wow.
We haven't been able to turn that.
Wow.
I'm sorry?
I'll tell you why. I want to bring in some of the plan of action. I still think I could use that.
How far back do you want me to go and get you?
This
the
contract,
agreement?
I can give it to you right now, the contract. Okay. I wanted to just match the, as long as this contract was.
Exactly. That's out of, if we go from the date they signed the contract till
Yes.
now, that's perfect.
That's all I need.
Yep, okay.
This is it. It looks like the 13th day of April 2020. You want to take, I have an extra copy. Okay.
And what's interesting is, the guy that was arrested for
Yes.
leaving the serious on the child, this guy's name from this trust. Yeah. Oh, we do background checks. Really? You know, this guy served time for murder.
It's like a pumpkin.
So,
I'm not in favor of it. I don't think so.
that's what I have. For,
Okay.
No, I don't either one.
May, I'm gonna check. I think they need a license to operate. Enforcement agency.
Now, unfortunately, unfortunately,
Mom.
the guy was
Mom.
not registered sex offender.
There's always tickets for it.
Did have a previous arrest.
Oh, okay.
Because the president is
If I remember correctly, I don't know if.
Oh,
it was-
okay. Okay.
it was no cross,
Because we could delay.
would have been a registered sex offender.
Tommy.
We could delay the
Tom.
proclamation if you wanted to.
Michigan State.
I mean, you
this
know, make it a
weekend.
little.
At
Ask this. What do you think?
Lansing, East Lansing.
We could do it.
the 3.2.
I know.
Just up to you. There it is.
We got one.
Now, do you want a copy?
Erica,
Do you want
did you bring me
case
this?
number? What exactly do you want?
Thank you. You know, I was at home looking for it. I'm going, what
Give you
is
case
that thing?
number.
Finally, I had to bring another one.
It's obviously
Been here
hard
from
drive
last
if I
week.
tell you,
Thank you.
33,
Put it in my purse.
Incident number, you know, and basically what it is, assault. Okay.
Good. Oh, I bet. I wish I had. I'm so sorry I missed it. Okay, so we'll have it regular time. Okay.
Well, we are getting a lot of calls there.
Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Undergoing mental crisis. Well, we have big crackdown. Things like that.
Chambers are crowded tonight.
The county police is called.
Three people, yeah.
Last year.
Oh, this happened. Oh, what does that say though?
Still in town? Your daughter's still in town?
The calls don't come in directly to us?
No, what I meant was the county
Well,
police.
they both, one of
No,
this came parked and
Hey, how come
everyone's.
Oh, so they live here in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they lived. Oh, I thought one lived in Philadelphia. Oh.
No, not Philly. That's
And then
Victor.
his last call,
He's from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Mr. Alonso received a call from.
And my sister,
They were offering
college in Villanova.
calls, so that's, they never intended,
Oh, wow.
or they never
I didn't know you had a sister.
contacted me, the director of the police.
In the Philadelphia Eagles.
I said, how can we be of assistance?
Oye, ven acá, cuando venían
It's our jurisdiction.
the
And, you
review.
know, I would never be in favor of. us
Oh, okay. Right, right.
in one of our areas.
So,
Dropped off the airport this morning.
did they say anything? Because
Oh, really?
they always got elected.
One in Detroit.
Okay.
Or
Follow up with you.
We're all here?
Okay.
4 days. Canadians had to read a maintenance manual for 4 days. Really? So I checked there. Don't they speak English? Yeah.
Call the vote, please.
Mayor Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
The vote. Roll, sorry. Here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilman Behet,
Here.
and Councilman Vasquez.
Here.
There is a quorum present.
All right, thank you. Let's all stand for the invocation by Councilman Best.
Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against wickedness and snares of the devil. Hail, Holy Prince, through the power of Almighty God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits which prowl through the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
I'd like to ask the audience to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone, to our meeting tonight, October 25th, 2021. Let's see, the first item on the agenda is awards and presentations, and tonight we have the honor of a proclamation presentation to the Puerto Rican Professional Association by our city. So we'd like to ask the representatives to please come up here to the front. And I'd like to ask Councilman Vasquez to read the proclamation.
Nice.
From the front.
Proclamation by the mayor of the city of Miami Springs. Whereas it is fitting and appropriate to identify community-based organizations whose spirit, dedication, and accomplishments have been an inspiration to society. And whereas Profesa, the Puerto Rican Professional Association, since 1999 has promoted its culture throughout the Latino community, encouraging its members to volunteer and engage with local charities. And whereas Profesa has donated thousands of dollars to nonprofit organizations such as the Cancer Society, the Alzheimer's Association, and the Open Doors Medical Clinic, among others. And whereas Professor has donated many college scholarships throughout the past, and whereas Professor's annual golf tournament is their most important fundraising event, which supports the charity work. And whereas Professor has selected Miami Springs Golf and Country Club to hold their 20th annual charity tournament on October 29, 2021. Now, therefore, in Miami Springs and in observance thereof, I, Maria Puente, Mayor of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, call upon the citizens of Miami Springs to join us in acknowledging the special occasion and do hereby proclaim October 29, 2021 as Professor Day, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, to be affixed this 29th of October, 2021.
Would you like to introduce the members that are here? And let's take one with all the council, if you like, with all the council members.
Mr. Betancourt, long-time serving members, he can introduce the other two.
Victor, thank you for recognition. My name is Edwin Betancourt. I am Vice President for the organization. I am an engineer representing professional here in the South Florida, being in South Florida for the last 12 years. And we keep a strong relation with the Puerto Rico and the local communities here. We have Mark, who's a lawyer. He's also part of our organization. And Elisa, who also own, business and very active on the Puerto Rican community. You maybe see her in different activities here in the South Florida area. Very active, strong representation of the Puerto Rican woman in the community. Again, thank you for the recognition. We decided to be in Miami Springs this Friday. You are invited to join us. We have more than 125 players and other persons that we are planning to recognize. This year, we are recognizing the first responder. Being a tough last 2 years with the COVID, we are recognizing a doctor and also a first responder emergency person who, provided life and time serving life and helping us to live and maintain, a very health community within the community. In addition to that, the whole idea of the professor had been 19 years. It came because there was a lot of Puerto Ricans coming into South Florida to help with the economy and the community. But there is some different rules, and it came some ideas to how we can support professional and future professional. We provide a lot of scholarship to promote Puerto Rican to pursue their degrees, to come into South Florida and be very active in the community, helping the economy grow, helping other professionals to make it happen. And that happened 20 years ago. That is how we can help lawyers, engineers, doctors and other professional teachers to integrate to the community and be proactive. With that in mind, we have been 19 years around in the community and all South Florida. And more recently, we have been very active. Puerto Rico have been going through big challenge, Maria Hurricane, that happened 3 years ago. We get some earthquake and then the COVID. We have been very active helping the community, and not only South Florida, but also Puerto Rican fellows, and keep moving. We don't only limit ourselves to Puerto Rico. We are very involved in any activity that deal with the community that we are here in South Florida, that go for schools. We have a very strong relation and with FIU, University Ana Jimenez, all that kind of university that help the community being developed. Without further say, thank you, Victor Vasquez, for the recognition, Mayor Maria Puente, for being this recognition. It's an honor for us, and we are planning to mention in our activity. Not only we have a web page that hit more than 10,000 people, and we have very definitely we're planning to recognize this honor for us, Professor. So looking forward to work with you hand to hand to keep helping Miami Spring moving forward.
Well, we're very honored that you're here, and we're very honored to have our Councilman Vasquez as on our city council as a member of the Puerto Rican community. So that's a great honor for us. You said you were having an event here in Miami Spring?
Miami Springs, a golf tournament. We are expecting more than $15,000 in that event, close
Wonderful.
to it. It's and a big portion of that goes in two areas, helping the different community and organization. I think you mentioned a couple of them, cancer organization, Alzheimer. We provide scholarship. We have Puerto Rican student funds, mainly for college students, also for high school kids. And we try to promote them to keep, growing in professionally. But that happening this coming Friday in the Miami Spring Golf Tournament.
There's still room for those that want to enter?
Sorry?
Do you still have room for anyone that wants to enter
why
the
not?
tournament?
Have any?
Mayor, I have a space in my golf cart. You can come with.
Okay, well, I don't play golf, but I'm thinking the community might hear, and there might be people that are interested in
Please
in
join
coming.
us.
So
It's
this
very
Friday
full, but
morning.
it's very full, but we have space. And very important, we have been this is October, in which we have another big activity, which is the breast cancer campaign taking place this month. We are using it. We have more than 20 players that will be getting into the event, helping us to move forward. Again, it's a charity event that we try to encourage sport, but also get some funding to help other organizations keep moving. So you are more than invited to have you there. And you can join us. Our activity ceremony is about 3 p.m. So you are more welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Betancourt, through the chair, before you leave the well, right here, before you leave the well, when I came back from the Middle East after living over there for several years,
Okay.
I was hired by Southern Air Transport. It was a famous company back in this town back in the day. And I got sent to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We lived in Isla Verde.
Nice.
And
He
I had
wasn't
a
happy
friend.
about it.
I had a friend who went to college with me in St. Louis University in Missouri.
Beautiful.
When I went to school. Ricardo Millon. His father was the first pediatrician on the island back in the day.
Yes.
And I'll never forget that.
Hmm.
I just wanted to share that with you because you're.
Thank you. Very important. I personally came from a public school in Puerto Rico to Kansas State. I made my engineering degree there.
K-State.
K-State. It's a long story. We can talk about it. How far from the coast from a Puerto Rican that we love the beaches like here in Florida. But actually, one of my best decisions, and I'm very glad that it came through. And my son went to University of Missouri there.
Columbia.
Yes, and right now I also make an MBA in Xavier in Ohio, and now he's working for Bank of America regional office in California. Actually, he just got married back on Saturday here in Western Hills. He was
Very
there.
cool.
So anyhow, the Puerto Rican community is very active. We identify a lot with the community that we are. We want to help our community to grow and move forward. So anything that you need from us through Victor, or you have our contact, we are here to help Miami Spring move forward.
Thank you, and thank you for having your event here at our country club.
Thank you, Mr. Betancourt.
Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Rodriguez. Thank you for having the special occasion tonight to, recognize the Profesa. As everybody knows, that's the oldest organization, and thank you to Victor Vasquez. And as our friend talk about Puerto Rico, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we are 5.6 million Puerto Ricans in the United States of America. Only in the state of Florida, we have 1.6. And in the island of Puerto Rico, we already have 2.9 since Hurricane Maria and Irma. We have been active with a lot of organizations, and it's very nice to have this recognition in this afternoon. Thank you to Victor Vasquez again, and thank you to all of us. As I said, I have a space in my golf cart for this Friday, 8 to 7. So we're going to have this annual as always. We're going to have fun, but the first and main thing is just to help. And that is going to be part of us. And it's going to be during the future years. We're going to continue working on these organizations. We already have like 10 or 20 organizations in South Florida. So thank you so much to support Puerto Rico. We're going to continue needs help for the island, and obviously for the Puerto Rican which are migrate to the South Florida and Central Florida. Thank you so much. And you all welcome this Friday to join the golf tournament of Profesa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. It was a pleasure and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck on
sir.
Friday.
Okay.
Productive meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is a presentation from Daramo
Daniel Romagnoli from the Roma Productions
Daramo
LLC
Productions.
regarding the Miami Springs Motoring Weekend for 2022. The chief and I had a chance to meet with Mr. Romagnoli a couple of weeks ago, and he presented us with an idea for a concept that he wants to do next year in our city. So I asked him, and he kindly agreed to come to council and give you a presentation of what the event will look like. So Romagnoli?
Okay, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dankeschön.
Good evening again to everybody. We were doing this, we're, have passion for classic cars and all things. And we organized an event of classic cars, and this is gonna be our 10th anniversary. We have to cancel it in 2020 and 21 for the reason everybody knows. And we did the last two editions in Doral, city of Doral. But now we're looking for a new town or city to do our event. Our friend and partner here is a neighbor in the city. So he suggests us to present the show to you. So this is more or less what we're gonna do, or where we're asking to do in the city. The idea is show the community all we do with classic cars, and during the event, kids participating, parades, etc. So everything is in the.
So it's a one-day event, or it's 2 days?
It's a one-day event. Saturday, April the 30th, next year, 2022.
Because you have May 1st on here too, is that,
I'm sorry?
on the cover, you have April 30th and May 1st.
Well, because we do a 3 days event, but on the road, we make another 500 miles with all the cars in Florida roads.
Oh, so in Miami Springs, it would be April 30th.
Yes.
Are there any questions?
Mayor, I have a
No, I
question.
welcome the event.
Okay, great. It's for consideration. We have to have meetings, I guess, with, to.
Yeah, basically, as I explained to Mr. Romagnoli, once I get consensus from council that this will be a nice event they have here, we still need to sit down and work out the logistics with the chief and with Public Works, and calculate the cost of police, because it will involve closing the circle for one day. Probably do it the night before so they can set up Friday night, and then have the event on Saturday. And Mr. Romagnoli also mentioned that they're going to be using local restaurants to provide the breakfast or the cocktail hour or whatever it is that you're gonna have. So we have to sit down and discuss all of that.
Is there an anticipated cost to the city?
He's already agreed that whatever the cost of the police services are and all that, those are the things that we're gonna work out. He will reimburse the city for that.
Let me add a little. Hi, good evening, everyone. The event used to be all through these 10 years. It's a race. It's a time race. Usually, it's from Miami to Naples or I don't know, Central Florida, and we get people from Italy, South America, Brazil. Well, Brazil is South America, of course, but everywhere. This time we're trying to do something different, which is that Saturday here in Miami Springs, where we share this passion for cars with everyone. It's not like a car show that I go every car show in Miami Springs. I have my cars here. It's totally different. So this Saturday, it could be that static, you call it static race. We're gonna present the cars. We're gonna have different clubs of different cars, like vintage, English cars, German cars, American cars. I personally made all racing cars, so we're gonna show that. And the idea is that the city, the people from the city and the kids participate. So we are thinking on doing. I don't know, probably you remember the ball bearing cards. So we are trying to do something like that for the kids too, like a race in the circle or
Soapbox derby kind of thing.
We don't have the
hills down here. I know.
Maybe someone can push a friend. I don't know, but so that will be Saturday that we're gonna interact with kids, with people, and it's a different kind of culture or cars that we're gonna present. It's not what we have in the circle or what we have through Miami, like all the Chevy's 50s from Cuba and all our old cars. This is different. This is racing cars. It's more kind of what you see in Europe, in Italy. That's the idea, to present something different with hay, what the whole setup gonna look a lot different than just a car show. So that's the idea. And then Saturday night was around 6, we're gonna start driving, and the route gonna take us to probably Naples, and then Sunday all driving, all day driving. That will be the race part. So that's why it's gonna be only Saturday here, and then Saturday night we start the race, and that will be all Sunday.
So the race will begin here as part of
We start
the,
here.
It's
It-
not a race, it's the beginning.
Just
Great.
And it's not a race,
Like a run.
a speed race,
right,
It's
it's
a
like a
slow
rally.
a time race, a timing race.
It's a rally.
Yeah, rally.
It's
Yeah.
a rally.
A
So
rally.
we're gonna start here. You see there a picture
Right.
that was in the rally with the,
So will there be an
starting point.
opportunity for people to see the different
All the cars.
entries, all of them kind of
Exactly.
going when it's their time? So you'll be able to see the beginning of the rally.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
It's supposed to start at 10 a.m. with like a parade with the cars.
How many cars are you expecting for the rally?
Wherever you need in the city.
No, but the rally but the rally.
No, for
itself
the
is
rally,
like
how
30
many?
30, 40 cars at least.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what we have been having all these years. The idea that we have also is to make some kind of driving around the city and visiting all the the crackers. I don't know if it's open or
Yeah, it is.
goodies, and and making some stops. The city is beautiful. It's awesome to do that.
Mhm.
And I think that in a Saturday is not much traffic. I mean, that better, but the idea is to drive around and make it more accessible for people.
Interesting.
Obeying
Yeah.
our speed limits here because
No,
we have a lot of
it's just
residents that complain about the speeding. So
No,
Sheriff,
That's not-
You got the chief sitting here.
race car, but going 20 miles an hour.
Yes, Mayor,
Right,
Well, Ferraris and stuff, right?
right. Ferrari speeding.
No, and even the race, the timing race, you have to respect all the speed limits everywhere
Okay.
you go.
Good, good.
We have some problems with the Indians in the tribe in was it Mikosuke?
Miyazaki, yeah.
But
he was explaining, they call it a race, but for example, how long would it take all of you to get from here to Naples?
like 3 hours.
No, there are different roads. We do, a lot of roads that people doesn't know.
Oh, wow.
Such as Tamiami Trail. Tamiami Trail.
Yeah, the thing is you for example, I don't know if you're familiar with this kind of timing races or rallies. You have a mark in a tree or in a stop sign, and from that mark you have to take your time, and to keep that time for like a mile or half a mile, whatever, you have the next mark. So you write down everything on a book, and at the end of each leg, you have to present that book, and then they take the times there. So sometimes you do that at 20 miles an hour. So you cannot go faster because you're gonna lose your time. So
Yeah, but sir, certainly somebody wants to win, right?
no, you win.
Everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win. That's my
You
point.
win
Yeah.
when you match the time you make with the time that the organizers made on the book.
Okay. Okay.
So if you go faster, you probably don't win. So
Through the chair.
Yes.
Yeah,
sir.
I think that requires a lot of discipline. I would imagine.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the program, and the music is going to be, yeah. Just I wanted to hear a little bit about the music.
Okay, the music.
You can step up to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The maestro Ariel Britos is from Uruguay. He's the director of the Juvenile Symphony. So he's gonna be here to present part of his show with different, musicians and songs and
Wow.
everything.
Like-
So he offered to be part of the show before the race or rally start.
Okay.
So the idea I was trying to explain is as the event schedule shows, start like at 10 a.m. with like a parade where all the cars coming inside the road and
stop there so the people can see them, and maybe cars from the firefighters, police, whatever, the mayor, maybe in a car, saying hi everybody, and try to make the participation from the kids and the local business, the small local business that were more affected by the pandemic. So maybe we can invite them to present their products on the vendors stage, or maybe make something like a coupons if you make a raffles during the event. Okay, whatever, they make a question or whatever one, take a pizza in whatever pizza restaurant or a coffee in a Starbucks. So something to make a movement, and
Hopefully the
let
pandemic will
everybody-
be over by then.
and to get like a DJ or something to put a little fun on the activity, to get a face painting for the kids, balloon, goodie bags, that kind of stuff that you can find in a fair. So in the middle time, people can walk around, see the cars, the vendors. I don't know if we maybe are allowed to put food trucks or something like that. That is very fun for people too. And to make like a 4 p.m. I think that we put it on to make the music show, to close the event and give the start for the rally, the race. And
So is the
and-
music going to be by young people?
yes, young and not too young.
Young and a little
young,
less
a
younger.
little, and young like me.
They're gonna be 15 young musicians.
Well, wonderful. I think,
It's cool.
any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Please, I'm just going to remind you anything, because I know it gets exciting planning all these things. Everything has to go through our city
Okay.
manager and be
We have
approved
this
and
with
coordinated with
agenda.
him,
Yeah.
no matter what activities, that
in case
has
that
to
we
be very
have a
tightly
Yeah,
coordinated
we need to
with-
make a detail. Okay.
No, I think this event is more than welcomed going forward in this city. And I thank you guys for coming here tonight.
Sounds like a
Thank
lot
you
of
very
fun.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to Miami Springs with this
Thank you
idea.
so much for receiving us.
Muito
We
bom.
keep in touch with the.
Yep.
Okay, right there.
And on the flyers, you have 2 links, one for the Florida Marathon, so you can see in the past what those guys did before. And also a link with Maestro Ariel Brito, so you can see what kind of show and music he does.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice.
Great,
Bueno,
thank
bueno,
you.
bueno.
We're looking
Very
forward to
welcome.
it.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you for inviting.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the next, is this one? Oh, this is pretty.
Wow.
Walter. Okay, then
Pretty cool.
next agenda item is the approval of the council minutes from the last meeting, from October 11th meeting.
Through the chair, motion to move 6A.
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet. Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, and now we move to agenda item 7, and I want to thank the members from the boards for being so patient. We're very happy and honored that you're here. So we'll have our first board update is from board member Fred Gonzalez from the Recreation Committee Commission. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Excuse me. Nobody signed up for, okay, I just meant to say, no, Fred, come on up. We don't have anything for open forum.
You got away with that one.
Is there anyone here who, well, virtual, let's make sure,
No, there
anyone
isn't.
virtual?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, welcome, Fred.
Thank you. So good evening, council.
Good
Good evening.
On Tuesday, October 19th, the Recreation Commission Board met for the first time since 2018. And we received an update from Parks and Rec Director Omar Luna on the current status of all of our parks. We acknowledge what a great job his team does, how they support the residents as much as humanly possible, and how thankful we are to have amazing linear parks and green spaces for walking, jogging, strolling, and bike riding. But we also asked Director Luna plenty of questions about the future of the parks for our city, knowing available green spaces close to reaching capacity. Knowing we are a board that can only make recommendations, we believe it is important that we can present the council a vision for our parks for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, a roadmap, if you will. As we continue to meet on a regular basis, we want to be strategically aggressive in identifying opportunities, small and large, that can bring about change and improvements. And we want to provide you that playbook early in 2022, if not sooner, because change is happening in Miami Springs. Just look at our new faces here on the council. So we want to jump on that momentum. As for our meeting, we discussed many topics, ranging from things as simple as upgrading trash and recycling receptacles at the parks, or upgrading our dog park with new obstacles and a nicer entrance, to more elaborate items such as adding cameras at all the parks for security, as well as for reasons to provide field status reports, or adding lights at PV Dove so our city can be even more self-reliant for our expanding youth programs. We discussed improvements to the walking trail at Stafford, inquired about the installation of turf at Stafford and Prince to eventually, over time, lower maintenance costs, and fencing projects at those same parks to provide a much needed update at our parks, which can appear tired and in need of a refresh. We also acknowledge how having a new city appointed grant writer could be a great asset in some of these big ticket items. We wondered if we need to take a look at facilitating more non-traditional sports like beach volleyball with some courts, the addition of outdoor basketball hoops, and could we create piers along Ludlam or other canals to make fishing more accessible and safe? We also ventured to the other side, pushing the boundaries of ideas. Could the city purchase real estate that doesn't produce taxable income and turn that into green spaces or parks? Could new development in the city be required to contribute toward enhancing our parks or green spaces? Could any current parks be reconfigured for better use of space? What about an indoor field house that could provide an always dry location for activities like soccer, flag football, lacrosse, and t-ball? And finally, we went there to what seems to be a cyclical, ritualistic conversation. What can the multitude of acres at the golf course provide for more residents? Could we develop a tennis and racket side to the golf course with the addition of tennis courts, racquetball and pickleball courts, along with a pro shop to service it? Would that bring more business to the restaurant and the venue itself? And what of the actual golf course? Could it be reconfigured to include a top-notch soccer park with 3 or 4 multi-purpose all grass or turf fields? So, council, get out your popcorn, strap on your seatbelts. Our board is ready to take a strategically aggressive look at our parks and present to you our recommendations, big and small, for what we can get accomplished. Some quick wins and some long-term goals, but all with the vision of a robust and attractive parks that our active residents of all ages will be even more proud of and well beyond the centennial anniversary of Miami Springs.
Through the chair, Fred, thanks for taking the reins of this board. Very nice.
Thank you. I'm not the chair, but I'm filling in for the chair today. But
I thought you were.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, Fred. I think you've outlined exactly what we had in mind a couple of months ago when we were discussing that we would have meetings and we wouldn't get any reports from boards and commissions, understanding COVID, right, and so forth. And we really discussed, I know I was one who said we need to be more proactive, we, the council. So in your opening, you hit exactly what we were talking about. This is one, what you're currently doing and immediately doing, and what kinds of things and issues you're looking at, but looking forward, right? And also getting feedback from the city council. I mean, I liked a lot of the things that you said. And so that's the kind of thinking that we were looking for. And so I appreciate your being here tonight. We always like the meeting are open, not just to the chairs or representative, but all commission and board members to attend. So you've come with quite a robust agenda, and I thank you for that.
thank you.
Anyone else for the chair?
Thank you, Fred, for coming out and laying it out. I was present at the Recreation Commission meeting. It was very, very productive, and everything that flowed through their mouths was music to my ears. I know we spoke about the golf course and touching tabs there. A lot of people were a little adamant about that idea back then, but I think the situation of back then is completely different to the usage that we want to use it for now, which is city property. So the city is going to use it. So if it's a benefit to the residents and there's something that can be worked there, I don't see why residents would be opposed to do something for the city. It's for us. It's not a private entity. It's nobody taking over. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those projected projects that you have to bring to the table to make our community a little bit more well-rounded and have maybe a center sports station where, you know, the Golf and Country Club can become this, you know, very versatile sports center, and it's very attractive, and it will alleviate maybe some other green areas that we have that are not being they're not being used very well. So I'm looking forward to some fresh ideas for sure. And thank you for giving us your time. And I look forward to many more. I'm going to try and be there as much as I can, because this is very important. This is expanding our city, making it more favorable, and you know, having more options for us to do here and stay here in our home city to enjoy it. So thank you for your work.
Through the chair, Fred, you're still running Little League, right?
Yeah, I'm not letting, no, yes, of course.
Thanks for taking that on, because you've done a nice job with that, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
I would like to thank Councilman Fajet for recommending me to join the board.
Councilman
So-
Fahet was off the charts for recommending you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Walter.
Right. Thank you. Thank you
Let
for
the record
serving.
show.
Anything else? I just want to thank you. Wow, you just summarized so many. It was a short summary, but you just care.
That was just one meeting.
But that's what I'm saying. I couldn't imagine. But you covered I mean, it was just like one after another after there's so many of them. I think all of us on here, there were so many, you know, and probably to varying degrees, issues that we're really glad to have a group of residents, because ultimately, you know, and I think I speak for all of us, we want to tap into the expertise, the knowledge, the ideas, the willingness to serve of our residents. And this is a great example of it, putting your minds together to benefit our recreational opportunities and expand upon them. And the idea is, you know, like the saying says, ideally, when you open up your door in Miami Springs, you're already in a park setting, you know, and there's plenty to do. And if you want to go somewhere else, you know, if you want to go to Tropical Park, you can, but you've got as many things to do here as you know, if you'd like to stay in Miami Springs, there's all these opportunities. And I know you alluded to a lot of new other recreational activities that perhaps we're not doing right now, and they may be low-lying hanging fruit that it doesn't take much to add them on. So all of those things to keep not just our youth busy and active, and they make friends and they have fun and they get tired, but for the adults too. You know, so many of these communities are just ways to keep up friendships, to stay healthy, to have nice activities locally. So there's just so much to reap from this. So thank you, Fred, for your report. As Councilman Fahet said, what we want, you know, this council is to be very in tune with the boards and make sure that we're providing anything that you need to operate. And I speak for the other boards too, you know, that you have our support and you can have your ideas as much as, you know, anything that you see that you think would be part, you know, of that boards within that purview. Feel free to either go for it or to come to us and ask for the support. Who's ever on the city staff will kind of guide you as to if some things, you know, just aren't within reach, but we want to make sure that we have that communication, that, you know, you have our support, and also that we hear from you that we're not operating in these parallel universes of, you know.
Right.
And on
Yes,
that
sir.
note, Mayor, Fred, one last thing I want to say is that we are trying to change the dynamics a little bit here in terms of boards and commissions, and not only do all the things that the mayor pointed out, but also that your members of the commission, as you go back, and I will try to attend one of your meetings. I was not able to attend your first meeting, that we are able to create a dynamics where folks will come to your meetings and bring other ideas as well, because I think sometimes, or at least when I was, as you know, I'm new to the council, but when I was out and about talking to neighbors, I've run into a couple of people who say, well, you know, I don't want to serve because you know, no one listens to you. And we want to change that. And it may have been just a few people, but that it is a dynamic process. And so I'm glad to hear there was a lot of dynamism at your first meeting after COVID, and I look forward to more.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Fred.
Fred.
Coming.
Thanks, Fred.
Okay. Our next board update is from board member Jim Watson of the Historical Preservation Board. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Good evening.
Jim, you just opened. I saw. You just opened. I saw.
The museum.
Well, this is two different things.
Yeah.
Sorry to take the wind out of your sails.
Yes,
there.
I'm very excited about that, but that's a different
Yes.
column or different responsibility, because I'm just as excited and pleased with the Preservation Board too. And that's why I'm coming to you first, but I'll stick in a promotion on that too at the end. I'm new to this position in terms of the chair for the Preservation Board. I'm following Cindy Garten, who's had incredible history in terms of running the organization. I have the pleasure of working with Yvonne Schonberger, Charles Hill III, also with Ken Wild, and also our newest person is Carol Foster. So we have a strong team. We've met twice, but our responsibilities are kind of a little bit narrower in some ways because we have some very procedural things. We are responsible for the designation of historic sites in Miami Springs. There are 17, and the sites are both structures and they're also sites. It ranges from, say, Daraha, which is the Curtis Mansion or Curtis structure, Curtis Home. I'm sorry, it's not. There's also the golf course. So we have, and also the Geiger Memorial. So there's a little give and take in terms of what it is. It's not just the structures, but there are 17 of them. And we're also, the other part of that, or the other half of that, is that we're responsible in terms of certificates of appropriateness, in terms of any changes that come to those buildings. So we kind of look and oversee those things. So those are what we tend to focus on the most. Other side projects we're looking at has just come up recently, is that we would like to identify all structures that were built prior to 1930, the original country club community. We're looking at applying or the process and appropriate locations for state markers. There are none in Miami Springs, so we're looking at terms of what that might be an appropriate first step. And no secrets, we're looking first at the 2 bridges coming into the community. And we're also looking at the possibility of maybe developing, it's in discussion whether it's a flyer or a small brochure, something that will define and talk about what are the characteristics of a historic building in Miami Springs. It is defined by the federal government. There's guidelines, but we want something that's more simple that will show you what a Pueblo style building is. What's maybe what are we looking at? The windows, the openings, the structure of that nature. Something simple. And that can maybe work as both helping people applying for building permits, may encourage people to look at that style, and also maybe a little bit of a promotional. So it could have multi-purposes, but again, we're looking at those things. And anything else that we get feedback from y'all. So mine is short and sweet on that, unless there's questions from the council.
Well, through the chair, you certainly have an all-star cast on the historical
We have a good group. Yeah.
board. Yeah. Carol Foster, I wasn't aware that
She's our newest
Oh,
person. She's attended.
yeah.
Thursday, she attended our first meeting.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we're fortunate there.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Jim?
Good. Good to see you.
We know each other from another life at Miami-Dade College. But it's always a pleasure to see you, Jim. And I'm very much interested in some of these points that you raise about state markers, for instance. I noticed that we probably need some.
Yeah.
And
well,
of course
it will come back to you. It will come back.
And the bridges, of course. I think that moving forward in our broader plans, both from the economic and business development side and historical preservation and so forth, is how do we continue to give the appearance of the character of the city from the outside. And so the bridges clearly are important because a lot of people come in and go out that way, and both at the front end on the Okeechobee side and on the other side of the bridges are places that people can see and appreciate the city, as well as some of the other entryways into the city. So I'm excited, looking
Oh,
forward
good.
to, I like to see where there's a 1930, pre-1930 structure, historian in me, right?
Uh-huh.
In the city, always wants to see those things. So, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
thank you. Well, I'd say we have a rich historic fabric here and something to take pride in, but I also at times think it's something that we can market. We have our Coral Gables, we have our other communities with distinct boom time personalities. And I think that it behooves us to at least to maximize that in terms of how it can.
Well, and not too far is our 100th anniversary.
Yes, very
Right.
soon, very soon. Very
We'll be
soon.
tapping into your group
Yes.
for that. We'll
Good.
be tapping into your group for that. But Jim, I wanted to thank you so much. You and the other members of the Historic Preservation Board and our memory keepers for the city.
Okay.
You know, we don't have someone on staff that keeps the history of the city, that keeps it alive, that is interested in it, that is has the ability to even point out things for the rest of us to learn about. There's so many, I know, I think it was last year or well, before the pandemic, we had a bike ride in Miami Springs that was organized. I went with Claire with Bob Best's
I know you
wife.
did. Yeah.
And it was stopping at different markers throughout the city, historical markers that I didn't even know. I've driven through them, by them so many times and didn't even know they existed and what they were. So I think you're right that there's the value there, not just for our community to know our history, to treasure it and to take care of it so that we can hand it off to future generations, but also perhaps to market our city, something very unique. There's very few cities in Miami-Dade County. I always say, like Coral Gables and us, that we have the Merrick House, a historic mansion, and we have a historic golf course and a theme city. There's just not a lot of those in all of South Florida, really. So we have a really unique position. So thank you so much for your work, for your board, and for preserving Miami Springs, the character and the charm of Miami Springs for all of us. And I'm very excited about what you're saying of producing kind of like a guidebook on what Pueblo Mission is, because we talk about it, but
Coral
nobody
Gables has a great one. Fort Lauderdale has a great one.
Right.
And that's kind of when we look at it. And it just brings it down and makes it simple because it's vague. Some of the idea of preservation and quite honest, I think a lot of our homeowners and business people feel that it's more of a threat than a benefit.
Right.
And how do we turn that around? And
make it more friendly.
Well, more friendly, but also so it's a benefit. So it's an asset.
And if you buy an older home and you're looking at maybe remodeling it or the outside and stuff, you might be interested in finding out, okay, these are ideas of what the real Pueblo mission, because it's very easy to get misled with that kind of information.
also
I don't mean confused as to what
You're
really
right,
is. And this
exactly.
would be something that shows you this is the real Pueblo mission. I'm not sure, is it revival, or I don't know much about that, but whatever it is that's true to the nature of Miami Springs, and having that information I can see would be really useful. And if somebody asks us in the city, we should be able to provide them guidance on that instead of saying, well.
And I'd also like to suggest to your point is that it's not necessarily looking backwards, it's looking forward. If you think in terms of this style can be modern, if you look at Santa Fe, New Mexico, in terms of vibrant, very popular
Absolutely.
community.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity. So
Yes.
we have the pleasure from your all's decision to get to work on that. So thank you.
Well, and know that you have our support. Anything that you need from the council or recommendations that you want to pass on to the council,
Okay.
please do so.
All right.
Reach out to us.
And then I'll say now I'll change hats real quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the museum is opening. Right now, we're going through
The
Miami Springs
Historical
Historical
Museum.
Society is going through the historical museum opening. We're actually doing a soft opening. Those of you who are members have already received some publicity on it. So we're doing that so we can kind of work out the kinks, in terms of, and we're doing it on a timed entry through Eventbrite. Only because of the COVID situation, we have a responsibility to open. When you're opening something during a health crisis, you have to look at what is responsibility. But so our big opening, and more publicity will be coming out, is November 6th and 7th. That will be our grand opening, and it looks good. I mean, I shouldn't be saying it. You should have more little humility or something, but I think it looks real good for a small targeted museum. We have 3 exhibits. One of the exhibits is the beginning is Country Club Estates becomes Miami Springs, the first 10 years going up to the naming of the city in 1930. The second is Battle Creek. It's an interactive show where we have a gentleman that knows electronics very well, has an audio-visual sound show. It's very small, but it's in the room that has all original furniture from the Country Club Hotel. So it's authentic. It's very good. Proud of that. And another one that's real fun is Wings, Memories of Eastern Airlines. And basically we have our larger show. It's items from the past given by people from Atlanta to Miami that just takes you back a bit when this was a company town. When you bumped into somebody at the grocery store, they either worked for Northeast or National or, so, and I think some of our younger members don't remember that. And that was a rich time in itself. So thank you. I'll cut the commercial and move it on. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Jim.
Jim Watson.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Mayor, through the chair,
Yes, sir.
colleagues, my good friends, I think going forward, perhaps for the next budget meeting a year from now, we need to consider creating a position for city historian. We have never had that in this town. I'd like us to consider that going forward. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, and then our last board update, last but not least, is from Chair Elizabeth Fisher of the Disability Advisory Board. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hello.
There.
Good evening, Mayor Mitchell, City Manager Alonso, City Council, and community members. My name is Elizabeth Fisher, and I accepted this invitation to serve our city this year on the Disability Advisory Board, and now as chair. Members of the committee are Michael Windrum, Eric Elza, Jacqueline Olivia, and Kathy Stadnick. This committee is charged with advising on concerns that affect the life and living conditions of persons with disabilities in our beautiful city, with a focus on programs, services, and projects to benefit those with disabilities. One of the resources to support these enhancements within our city, which is overseen by our Disability Advisory Board, is appropriating the usage of annual funds received from the county from disabled parking permit fines. This year, the funding obtained from these fines was greatly reduced from prior years. The previous years were $4,210, $6,568, but this year only $834.79 was generated. This could be due to the slowdown of the pandemic, slowdown of citations issued within our municipality during COVID, or optimistically, this could be greater awareness and respect for disabled designated parking spaces within our city. Our committee voted to allocate these funds to support our city's current ADA projects. This includes the enhancing of 17 areas within our community with additional sidewalks, with inclines or ramps to access the street or to connect areas where there are gaps in the sidewalk. Also to provide detectable warning surfaces, which are the yellow surfaces with raised domes to alert visually impaired of their approach to street crossings and drop-offs, indicating the boundaries between pedestrian and vehicular routes. Additionally, the committee did discuss and share its concern about the Miami Springs Aquatic Center having its ADA wheelchair lift out of operation for a couple of months. This was repaired and has been in use, a tremendous asset to our aquatic center and a much loved resource by members of our community in need. At our meeting, we had addressed the fact that the ADA lift was not publicized on the Miami Springs Aquatic Center page online. We're happy to report it has since been updated to reflect pool is ADA accessible and has an ADA lift. Additionally, a committee member inquired if the tennis court ADA restoration had been completed, and we're happy to report it was. The 2 handicap parking spaces and widening of the gate and sidewalk are complete. I remind all these are not only for disability access for individuals to play tennis, but for a family member or loved one to attend a match and cheer on a child or a friend. Since the appointment, we have personally asked many members of our community with mobility and other ADA challenges if there are any public areas they are unable to access. Other than the pool lift, there have not been any concerns or recommendations voiced. Today, we are reaching a much broader audience. I ask all to please be vigilant about ADA needs in our community. Sidewalks and ramps deteriorate and new needs arise. Please contact me or any of the members of our committee, and we'll be happy to look into any concerns. A final note to all present and to our community that October 15th was White Cane Day. I serve as president of the Miami Springs Lions Club, where vision has been a global cause since 1925, when Helen Keller addressed the International Lions Convention and asked if they would become Knights of the Blind. Please know we have members who visit our city and our Lions Club who are blind or visually impaired. A reminder that by law, we must all yield to a white cane. Now you may notice this white cane also has a red tip. Some canes also have a red stripe that circles the cane. That has another meaning that not all may be aware of. That means the user is not only visually impaired, but hearing impaired as well. So if they are crossing our city at our circle and you beep your horn as loud as you can, they will not only not see you, but not hear you either. So please be alert and yield to white cane days. We look forward to meeting again the month of November to address any of the issues that may come up and to raise awareness of our ADA opportunities within the city of Miami Springs. If anything you become aware of, please let us know.
Through the
Thank you.
chair, Elizabeth Fisher, I'd like to thank you for all of your voluntary time, both to the Women's Club, the Lions Club, and the board that you represent right now.
Thank you
You're
very
a
much. My
credible
pleasure.
citizen, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Through the chair.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
I want to echo, Elizabeth, what my colleague Bob Best has said. And of course, full disclosure, because I'm a disabled veteran. And so this board is really close and dear to my heart, and I will be attending one of your meetings. I also appreciate the comprehensive report that you brought us. And I learned something about the cane. I was familiar with the canes.
Ah,
I did not know about the
I didn't
stripe.
either.
there you
And
go.
I think that's very significant and also a credit to you and the board for, for making sure that we're aware of this as well. Not sure if Chief was aware, or others were aware, but it's news to me, and I've been a disabled person for more than 40 years and have used different canes at different times. So thank you so much. I tell your folks, we appreciate, as I told the other board representatives, we appreciate the conversation. And also, as we need to get more information out about the different boards and what they're doing, and to get even more folks who either have disabilities or have family members that have disabilities, to make sure that they know that you guys are actively working and gathering more information. And then bringing those things as well to our board, so to our councils. Thank you.
Thank you. Will do.
Elizabeth,
The
anything
chair.
else? Sure.
Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Thank you.
I learned so much right now, and I think it would be helpful if we can I would like to get an image of the white, what do you call it? The white walker
Mhm,
that you
white
just
cane.
showed us.
Mhm.
Also with the stripe ones, maybe we can post it on our Instagram and let people know, hey, if you see somebody around the community crossing the street, so they can be aware. I mean, I think we can put something like that together, and then maybe on our webpage, we can also put a link or something where it will direct people to multiple forms of disabilities and their aids, so that we can be aware as a community. Because that for me, I know that there would be someone with a walker, but I would have never known that was the case. So we could be a little bit more sensitive to, how we're driving around the city and, what approach to take when we see somebody walking with that aid.
That sounds wonderful. Also, the
Thank
use
you.
of seeing eye dogs and dogs for PTSD for veterans and for those that are disabled. We're currently raising, I think, the third seeing eye dog for the blind within the City of Miami Springs Lions Club. And so we're happy to be doing that as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I wanted to
Elizabeth,
just mention
Tell
that-
Lee I said hi, by the way.
and tell him thank you for allowing
Sharing you with us.
Yeah, sharing you with the whole city. But
Mayor, could I?
yes,
I'm sorry.
wait, come back. We're not finished.
Back. We're not done with you yet.
This could go a very long time. I'm just kidding. Go on, Councilman.
I just wanted to mention to you, and it was brought up briefly earlier, but not so much in the conveyance that I want to bring it now. And that is, several meetings ago, you made a point. You said, you know what? Let's bring these boards back. Let's bring these boards back. And over the last 3 meetings, you have done that. You have brought the chairs of all these boards back, addressing this, which is what we're seeing tonight. Elizabeth being the most recent. And I thank you for that because we've never done that. In 15 years, we've never done that. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman. But I think it was that this whole council has been very receptive to that, to taking the time at the meetings to hear from the boards and let you know that you have our support on whatever issues you come across, and that you have, we want you to come up with ideas to challenge the city to be better, to constantly improve. And I think it's kind of fitting. I apologize for you being last to give the reports, but I think it's kind of fitting because we talked about the recreation, diversity and recreation opportunities for our residents. And then also, getting to know the historical areas throughout the city, the very, very many different, not just historical homes, but sites and markers that we have. And that should be for all. So, all of those are opportunities that should also be for anyone who has any kind of disability. So it's really fitting that that you're looking at that part of it to combine it with all the other opportunities.
Happy to partner up with our boards.
I really like that you said that your board had reached out to persons with disabilities and asked them if there were certain areas. What a great idea, certain areas in the community that they're having difficulty getting to, so you could target those areas. So I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Our pleasure. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Okay, so the next agenda item is public hearings, and we have none. And then we have agenda item 9, the consent agenda. Is there anything of these two items that anyone wants to pull?
Through the chair, I'd like to move that we do 9A and 9B motion for discussion on 9B.
Second.
Okay. You want to discuss 9B? So we'll pull that. So let's go ahead. Do I have a motion regarding 9A?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, and now we'll discuss 9B.
Through the chair, this is more jocular than anything else. Chief, you really expect to spend 11, almost 12 grand on ammunition for the next year?
Well, I can tell you, sir, that unlike other organizations, we train with our firearms quarterly.
Okay.
And we qualify quarterly.
You just answered
where
the
by state law.
You just answered the question.
Department is only required to qualify every 2 years.
Motion to move the item.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
All right, item 10, agenda item 10, old business. We have none, and now we move to agenda item 11, new business, and we have several resolutions under that. We'll do resolution A.
This is a resolution of the mayor and city council city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, approving an agreement for safe school officer services for the Integrated Science in Asian Culture ISAC Academy, providing for authorization, providing for an effective date. This is just an agreement we have to provide a police officer on the school grounds. And the chief is here. If you have any questions on the agreement, we've been doing this for how many years now? Chief?
Well, we started with Isaac right after the Parkland shooting, and it's not so much that we have to. Before this agreement, it was just basically an off-duty job. And Isaac sent us this agreement, and we sent it to the city attorney to look it over. So that's why it's here tonight.
Do we, is this, through the chair, is this a something off-duty that we?
Yes, these are off-duty officers.
Okay, just like somebody with off-duty was to do a Dolphin game or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Through the chair, I would also mention that it is necessary. It's part of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act. The school has to have a
And-
contract with to have safe school officers. So this is something that's necessary for them, even though they've been hiring, they've been employing off duty. The actual formal documentation is required.
And for some reason, the other charter school hasn't sent us one yet. So
That's because the other charter school operates out of a district building and they have school police as they won't give up that jurisdiction. So they employ off-duty officers, but the
right.
jurisdiction
Okay.
falls on school police, Dade County School Police.
Which the high school does too.
Yeah, correct.
Well,
all of the
Miami-Dade
public
public schools
schools.
have the public school police. They went through a massive hiring.
Yeah.
So in other words, not that we're in Virginia Gardens, but Blessed Trinity doesn't have that either.
No, private schools don't.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, is there a motion? or
Motion to move the item.
Second.
Any discussion, further discussion? Call a vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet.
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Agenda item 11B.
This is a resolution of the mayor and the city of council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, approving an amendment to the banking services agreement with Truist, which is formerly known as BB&T Bank, providing for a waiver of competitive bidding, providing for authorization, and providing for an effective date. And I just want to make mention that this does require a 4/5 vote to pass.
With the chair, motion to move 11B.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this because of the merger?
No, it's, or partly, but it's our 5-year agreement that we have with BB&T expired
Okay.
already. So, and as a memo mentioned, we prepared an RFP a couple of months ago. And unfortunately, since BB&T and Truist were going through this change, they never responded. So out of the institutions that responded, we only had one that actually
Was within.
submitted a bid, and they're outside the city.
Mhm.
And one of the stipulations of our RFP was that they had to be within 3 miles of the city. Because it's not only more convenient, but police usually makes our city deposits, so it's easier for them to, they want to stay within the city.
Sure.
And they do it daily.
And
Yeah.
they do it daily, so, so what we did with BB&T or with Truist is that they're granting us a current contract extended for another year.
Mhm.
So that next year we can issue a new RFP and see if we get better responses.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet.
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay. Item 11C, another resolution.
This is a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, awarding request for proposals 04-2021 for capital improvement and equipment acquisition revenue note to BCIC Capital, Inc., a subsidiary of the City National Bank of Florida, authorizing the negotiation of the revenue note in an amount not to exceed $645,000 at a fixed rate of 1.50% for 5 years for the purchase of 2 side loader single axle garbage sanitation trucks, a Ford 150 for the Parks and Recreation, and capital improvements to the community center, providing for the note and other documentations to be approved by subsequent resolution, authorizing other documents required in connection therewith, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Through the chair. Mr. Manager, typically we outright purchase these trucks, don't we? Over the years.
Over the years, we financed them.
We have,
Oh, yeah.
and
it's in the budget,
Yeah, no, I know.
just approved for this year.
I know, but I don't remember ever seeing a resolution for in new business over the years that we outright went out and bought one. Or finance. You got a good rate, by the way, 1.5. Thank you,
In the
Mayor.
future, someone's going to look at this and say, that must be a typo.
Yeah.
They'll look at this
No,
agenda.
it's not a
they'll go,
typo.
"Could
No,
have
he's
been
he's
1.5."
crazy. He's crazy about how he gets these interest rates and
Right.
bundle stuff. And yeah, I know.
Mayor, I have a
It's our finance director.
I have a question. So these are going to replace the current side loaders that we have, correct?
The two older side loaders that we have, yes.
And will those be, what's going to happen to those? Just,
Well,
You'll sell them.
I don't know if they're gonna use them
Well,
or
they're gonna
auction
use
them
one
off.
as
Yeah.
a backup, but
To
then they'll
cannibalize.
probably auction the
Auction
other
the
one
other
off,
one. Okay.
because we're having
Alright.
some issues with the one.
be able to recoup a little bit from them.
Okay, and also the item, the Parks and Recreation vehicle, that is if any of you had seen the truck that we were using that was parked in front of the, it was all rusted out and banged and,
Yeah, thanks for attention to detail, William.
yes, we definitely needed to replace that. It was hard to believe that that was something we were still
Good
having
point,
our
Mayor.
staff drive.
Good point.
Um,
Motion to move 11C.
Okay.
Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and I do have a question regarding the capital improvements to the community center. I know part of that was repainting the outside.
All of that is repainting the
just the
community
painting?
center, which from some of the preliminary estimates that Omar had received, we put $80,000 in the budget. But that's going to go out for RFP. So hopefully we'll see if we can do a little better than that.
I'm hoping we do. That seems incredibly high, but I know you've gotten 3 bids and they're around there. It's but hopefully we can do better in that. Okay, any other discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item 11D.
A resolution of the mayor and city council, City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving a professional services agreement with the Corradino Group Inc. for development of an evaluation and appraisal report, EAR, preparation of an year-based amendments to the city's code and
hoping that.
10-year water
I gotta run. Bye. All right.
in accordance with state law requirements, providing for a waiver of competitive bidding, providing for authorization, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to move the item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? William, this is the comp plan.
This is the
Renewal
comp
that's-
plan amendment that we do. I believe we did it about 10 years ago. And we're overdue now. The state sent us a letter that we needed to do the update. So that's what this is in reference to.
Okay. And the cost for this was
28
that,
28,670.
any further discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item 11E.
This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving an interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County to allow the city pursuant to section HCC-11 of the Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances to enforce various provisions of the county code relating to for-hire transportation regulations and issue civil violation notices relating to the same, providing for authorization, providing for an effective date. And the chief is here. If you have any specific questions about this agreement.
Chief, could you explain a little more what this does?
Basically, I'm sorry, basically it's allowing our officers to enforce civil or provide civil notices, civil violations when it comes to hire vehicles like limousines, party buses, taxis. Certain violations could only be enforced by Miami-Dade County Police, but this is just a mutual aid agreement between us and them, allowing us to do the same.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good.
What are some examples of, like, what would we, without this, not be able to enforce that only Miami-Dade could
Certain
enforce?
violations of their licensing, like when you sit in
I
the
see.
cab, they have certain
I see.
requirements on their licensing,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Have we ever had an agreement like this before in the past or no?
Not since I've been here.
Okay.
I don't know if they had before that.
Does, through the chair, Chief, does this include licensing of the operators as well? You have a chauffeur's license kind of thing, or?
Certain vehicles, for example, like the party buses require chauffeurs.
Correct.
So yes.
That's my question.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
11E.
Okay. Any more discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yes. Jackie. Was the second.
okay.
You're the first and Jackie was the second. Okay, agenda item 11F.
The following item, Board Member Marlene Jimenez has been absent 3 meetings. She still expresses the will to serve still. It's work commitments have taken her away from it, so.
Through the chair, I'd like to respond to the clerk on that. Marlene Jimenez has been my appointee since before I came into office. She is off the charts relative to code compliance. She has, over the years, maintained major league respect of all members of that board through the years for the last 15 years, 18, I think. And I strongly recommend to my colleagues that we maintain her as the chair of the Code Compliance Board.
Do you want to?
Motion to move it.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? I just want to echo Councilman Best's comments. I know Marlene is just a very, very hardworking member of this board for so many years, very active and very passionate. And the last year has caused a lot of conflicts time-wise for all of us. So
This is more of a formality for her to be
having her
reappointed.
continue. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So any other discussion? Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you, colleagues.
And thank you, Marlene, for serving for so many years.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so the next agenda item is reports and recommendations. We'll start with our city attorney, Jose Arango.
No, wait, whoa. 12A, Mayor.
That's been removed.
It's been
right?
removed. Yes, you received
Oh,
a
that's right. Yeah.
earlier version of the agenda, so that's
I didn't
disregarded.
even read it. Sorry. I was looking forward to that, actually.
Nothing to report. I spoke with Heidi on the side before the hearing. So her and her family are at home and they're doing very well
Oh, good.
With the new baby.
with the new baby. Yes.
Wonderful.
I think I saw something on our deal that she was attending virtually tonight.
Oh, yes.
She,
I didn't see her, though.
No, she responds to emails. Some emails that I sent to Jose. and
That's
she's-
crazy.
I'm going, she's,
I saw that. I said
Heidi.
she'll be virtual tonight at our meeting. That's cool.
Heidi, if you're there, we send your love, but I'm hoping you're with
Yep.
the baby.
You bet.
We hope you're not there.
Yeah, really.
We hope you're sleeping, resting.
From the city manager.
Yes, Mayor. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our ribbon cutting this morning for the Reagan Park. But I'm working with Senator Rodriguez on coming up with a new date. I already gave more or less the dates that are available. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me and we'll reschedule that at a future date. And I just got some news tonight for the vaccination site tomorrow that they will be offering the third booster shots for Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, but not Moderna. Moderna, you can only go to the Florida Health Facility downtown.
What do they have
Get
against
it
me?
because the way he explained it to me, each bottle of Moderna is 28 doses. So they don't want to open a bottle unless they have guaranteed 28 people there
Guaranteed
because
28
they don't
people.
want it to go to waste. So he said if tomorrow we get a lot of people with Moderna, they'll bring it in Thursday.
That doesn't apply to the other vaccines?
No.
Interesting.
So tomorrow, if you want the third booster, they'll have Johnson & Johnson as well as Pfizer available, as well as first and second doses. You have any events?
I have a few, as well as the vaccines. It'll be on Friday as well. So from 9 to 4.
Friday, yeah.
The pumpkin carving contest, the last day to enter in your pumpkin is the 27th. And just make sure that you use that hashtag Spooky Springs 2021. We also, although the farmer's market got canceled this weekend because of rain, we will have the farmer's market starting every Saturday until March 5th from 10 to 3. And then also Howl of Springs for October 29th from 5 to 9 on the circle. Make sure you purchase those wristbands because wristbands are required. And then Mr. Watson already mentioned, but the Historical Museum has its grand opening November 6th and 7th. And you have to reserve your tickets on Eventbrite for that
Thank you, Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so City Council, Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Nothing to report. Thank you for another productive meeting, and I'll see you in the next meeting.
Councilman Best?
Happy Halloween, everyone.
That's it.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Hey, Councilman Fahet.
Yeah, so just wanted to again echo the sentiments, the previous sentiments. Fred Gonzalez, who is here representing the board for Recreation Commission, and Jim Morrison, the Historic Preservation, Elizabeth Fisher, still here with us. I mean, just their service to the community is just we can't go far enough to explain how fortunate we are to have great citizens and residents like that. Also, I appointed somebody to the Education Advisory Board, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank the outgoing person who was termed out, Dr. Ila Molina, who is a resident here in the Springs, who served, who did a wonderful job serving on that board as well. So thank you to her. And I wanted to just give kudos out to William and the staff. And they correct me if I'm wrong, but some residents had reached out to us about those containers. Those containers were moved today, you said?
Yes.
So just to fill you guys in, some residents on the east side were letting us know that there was a big, those red containers where people can donate clothing. They had put one at the end of Reagan Drive on city property, and there was another one on Fairway Drive, close to the Clarion over there. And apparently they had done that without permission. And so I brought it to the city manager's attention, and within today, those are gone. So that's
Good looking out, Councilman.
yeah. And no, it's a credit to city staff and William and you know, we always talk about how responsive he is, and so thank you. We appreciate that.
Just to as a little history from what you had told. This had come up a few weeks ago, and you had spoken to our code enforcement, and code enforcement reached out to the company or whoever put those out there and told them that they needed to remove them, and they never responded. So once that happens, we just pick it up and we'll hold it in public works, and if they show up in a couple of weeks, we'll give it to them. If not,
That's it.
Thank you for that.
Councilman Vasquez.
Oh, okay, thank you. No, first of all, Mayor, I want to thank you and the rest of the city council for the proclamation to the Puerto Rican Professional Association. I'm glad they're back in the city. Also, doing the golf tournament this Friday. I plan to drop by. I don't play golf. I'll just drop by anyway and say hello to them. And most importantly, it's the charity work that they do. That's really the most significant thing. They do a lot of things for professionals, but the charity work is just excellent. And as you heard, the golf tournament is a big fundraiser for them. And almost all of that money is channeled through different charities. Secondly, I want to, again, the honor flight, I understand, was just wonderful. Bob, you were there. I was not able to get there, but my son was there along with other volunteers. I believe it was 72 guests and 72 accompaniments, so full plane, and you got more than just coffee. So we're glad. And it was a long day, but I understand a long day.
They got a Danish too.
Beautiful day. So thank you for that work for the honor flight. Just a quick update on the War Memorial Fund. As you all know, I'm chairing that effort, and Councilman Best is on that, and we've got Deacon Jordan from Blessed Trinity, and Richard Block from City Councilman from our sister city, and Ralph Kropp, who's on our code compliance board, I think. And so we are moving forward now to also initiate some local fundraising for the board. I know we have the support of Representative Avila and Senator Diaz to try to get state appropriations for that, and we are very pleased with that, but we don't want to wait till you want to make sure that we do our own due diligence and collect funds. And so we're going to be starting the campaign Tom, and we're going to be starting to advertise a campaign, and through the support of the city manager, we're going to be able to collect the checks. Bob is the treasurer, and we have our account with Truist. And on Friday, I went to the which is a Westward event, and it was such a nice event. I've never been inside the building, so that was a great thing. And then, of course, I am notorious for being on time, and usually that
Me
means
too.
that I'm early. So I got there, and it was 7 o'clock, but it was 5 to 7 anyway. I had a wonderful time there, and connected to the War Memorial. Representative Avila was there, and with his wife, and of course, Councilman Fajay, he had to better be there. It was a wonderful event, and Councilman Block and I were thanking Representative Avila for to bring the state appropriations for the War Memorial, and I happened to mention that we were going to be initiating we already have the account with Truist and initiating a fundraising event, and he said, when you do, I'll write a personal check to the War Memorial Fund. So I thought that was wonderful
awesome.
and
That
was
great
pretty cool.
of him. And last but not least, congratulations, William, Tammy, and everyone. We have a new public information officer.
Yes.
Great job on hiring that. I know that was something that was on that top of the radar screen. So
Very nice.
congratulations. And even though we'll have another council meeting before that, I just want to remind everyone of Veterans Day and the event that the city always
November
does.
11. Yep.
November 11th. So thank you.
If I may, I had skipped something, just one. Forgot all about it.
You never
Talking
skip
about
anything.
Representative Avila. Remember, he will be at the senior center this Thursday at 11,
Yes.
from 11 to 12. So if you can make it there,
Sure. I'll be there.
be great to see the representative there.
And Tammy Key would love to see everybody in costume because the
Yeah.
seniors love it. They
Not-
truly do.
Not sure that's going to happen, but I might come.
And Tammy Key told me today too that Commissioner Sosa has donated 20 turkeys to the senior center for Thanksgiving. The raffle that we usually do. So she's donated 20. I'm waiting to see if the Florida League of Cities does another 20 like they do every year. So that's going to be coming up in November,
It's at the 28th or 29th, William, Thursday.
the 28th.
Thursday's
Thursday,
28th.
All right, great. Thank you. And then I just want to say, I wanted to mention that FDOT, Florida DOT, reached out to William and myself. They want to have a meeting as a follow-up from the Northwest 36th Street corridor meetings that were held in the summer in the Iron Triangle. And we asked, are these public meetings? And they said, no, they just wanted to update the mayor and the city manager about where they are with that. So once we get information, we're meeting with them. We have 2 meetings this week with them. Once we have more information on that, we'll pass it on. I'm guessing if they don't have public sessions coming on, then we'll request that they do to provide that information or to come to a meeting and make a presentation. But I just wanted to let you know that that's on the agenda. And then the other thing is I want to invite all our business owners in the community, but also residents, if they want to go, the 3rd Miami Springs Business and Economic Development Task Force, the newly created task force. The 3rd meeting will be next Thursday, November 4th at 6 p.m. here in the chamber. The task force is just really impressive group, 13 members of business professionals and residents, and they're tasked with, for a year, looking at the city, giving the council recommendations as to what types of businesses we should try to attract to Miami Springs, and also how we can improve the business environment for the existing businesses. So it's really a monumental task, and the meetings are very interesting. We're getting a lot just from these meetings. They're going to prepare a report within a year or sooner, but just being in the meetings, we're getting a lot of feedback. So I want to invite all business owners to please attend 6 p.m. not this coming Thursday, next Thursday, November 4th. And also to thank Senator, our Senator Ana Rodriguez and the Miami Association of Realtors for the Tiki Hut, the new Tiki Hut that the Miami Association of Realtors sponsored at Reagan Park. Like William said, the the ribbon cutting was going to be this morning, but it was canceled because it was raining. So I believe it'll be probably later this week or next week, and it'll be posted on our website whenever that is, right, William? The new date. So we want to thank them very much for their support, making improvements and enhancing our community. And with that, happy Halloween to everyone. Meeting is ended.
Nice meeting, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman.
Hour 35 minutes. Oh, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. We're not ready, Bob and I. Hey, Bob.